Welcome
Right.
everyone to our Always On webinar. It has been a while since our last one, so we're really happy to be back with you today. And in today's webinar, we're going to find out what are the 5 ways to generate retention revenue with WhatsApp. So my name is Grace. Oh, where did I go? There I am. My name is Grace. I am Charles's product marketing manager, and today I'm really excited to be joined by our VP product, Yenny. How are you doing, Yenny? I know that you're calling in from somewhere outside of Europe.
Wow, you're making it so so much suspense. No, yeah, that's right. So my name is Yenny. I'm originally from Hong Kong, and this week I'm actually calling in from there. I'm VP product of Charles. Um, Previously also dabbled in the field of conversational AI, like in the API space at tech. But I think a lot of these themes are actually relevant to Charles and what we're working on. So excited to be speaking with you together with Grace today on revenue retention, a topic that is really close to our heart and like very core to Charles' product as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so why now? Why is it important for us to be having this conversation around WhatsApp and retention revenue now? It's probably no secret to those in the audience that customer acquisition costs are skyrocketing, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to catch and hold people's attention with an already saturated market. Customer loyalty and returning customers is more important than ever, and as businesses are turning towards CRM teams to drive revenue, traditional channels just aren't really cutting it anymore. Email opening rates are down, app notifications are off, and return on ad spend is also dropping. We can see here that there's been a 22% increase in customer acquisition costs over the last 8 years, which is pretty crazy. Which is also why more and more businesses are turning to WhatsApp as a new marketing channel that complements their existing marketing stack. So notice I say complements. We're not talking about WhatsApp replacing anything. Really, it's a channel that complements existing marketing stack or existing strategies. And it's also a channel that focuses on growing revenue retention. WhatsApp also enables profitability by with high opening rates, and it's also something that's embedded into daily habits. So you're probably like us, you always, WhatsApping on your phone, and it's embedded into these daily habits. It also enables data collection. This may be something that you haven't thought about, because the data collection is driven by the interactive and rich formats that WhatsApp offers. If you've never actually tried or seen what WhatsApp marketing and what WhatsApp can offer, we will have a QR code at the end of the presentation for you to have a go yourself. What's also great about this data collection is it's oftentimes like driven by the end user. So the end user is telling you these preferences. So you're not inferring it from any other marketing data. It's also scalable. It also enables scalability with the two-way communication enabled by AI and automations. And of course, finally, we are in Europe, we are in Germany, so security and compliance also very, very important. And it is enabled via certification, security features, as well as GDPR compliance strategies. Now, WhatsApp is a channel that earns you money with every conversation. So I'm going to hand over now to Yenny, who's going to take us through the 5 ways that you can generate revenue retention with WhatsApp. Yenny, you want to take it away?
All right. Thank you, Grace, for kicking us off today. And we're going to talk about the 5 tips and 5 things that we have seen work pretty well with our customers and share it with you today. So our theme is revolved around always on. That means sometimes you can leave this flows on and revenue will be generating in the background for you automatically. Sounds pretty cool, isn't it? So we're going to walk through our abandoned cart flows and birthday campaign is one that we're really excited to show this group because the product has just been launched general availability. Also building a WhatsApp community, waking up the sleeping customers, people who haven't been engaging with your brand for a while, and then as well as measure, learn, and repeat, just like how you would do it for a startup, but like also from the marketing terms, watching your KPIs, no? So, well, without further ado, let's go into abandoned cart flows. Do you know that actually 70% of the e-com carts actually gets abandoned? And that is coming from a stats from research from Baymart Institute. And that means only 3 out of 10 customers actually would buy what they have put in their cart, like the other might just give up. And I can reflect on my personal experiences as well when I go on, online shopping. No, sometimes I forget my credit card. If you have to pull it from the wallet, sometimes it's another friction point. Like you add in your purchase, or you simply forget about them. No? So that is a lot of wasted potential, don't you think? Because in this case, like we wouldn't lead to like the final conversion, right? And with WhatsApp and actually the Shopify integration, you can actually build an abandoned cart flow that can cut through all of this noise to reach the customer directly on WhatsApp. And the good thing is that like WhatsApp is still like a slightly newer channel, right? It's less saturated than say other channels like email. It's also where your friends and family would text you on WhatsApp, no? So your notification is always on. And with Charles today, you can already create this WhatsApp automation flow that leverages this conditional rules as well as discounts so that you can save these abandoned carts that otherwise might not convert into a purchase in the end.
And Yenny, you said that it's a great channel because the notifications are always on. It's where you text your friends and family. Is there any other way that why WhatsApp is a great channel for these type of flows or these type of messaging?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the personalized touch to it as well as it just makes it more human. Because like for other channels, sometimes it feels quite scripted and it could be a pretty one-way communication where you just receive something, right? So you look at the email and be like, okay, nice, cool, but I received like 200 of these like within a week, no? However, for WhatsApp, what we can do with the automation, the journey flow here is that it really feels like a conversation, right? And you can even interact with them. You can create flows with different buttons where people can reply. They can select different items from the list, no? So it really feels like someone is like speaking with you, and it makes you feel like you're someone special. And I think that is really crucial on the marketing side, right? To really feel to make your customers feel like they're always VIP.
Absolutely. And also the channel, like with the notifications on, you're getting the message sent to your phone. It also generates this sense of urgency or FOMO, which would also help to encourage to come back to the cart. Not that I need much encouragement to spend my money.
To buy things. Yeah. Well, we're actually going to talk about the FOMO part like a bit later, and I'm excited for it as well.
Absolutely. Guys, I noticed that the Q&A is very quiet. We haven't had any questions pop in yet, so please don't forget to pop them into the Q&A as they come up.
Yeah, definitely. We'd be happy to make this more interactive and more informal as well, no? So feel free to jump in. All right. And then let's talk about birthday campaigns. That is, as I mentioned, a feature that we're really excited to share with you on because it has just been available for all our customers. Well, Grace, I actually knew that your birthday was like 1 week, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. I won't tell the audience how old I turned because I'm still.
Well, I wasn't planning to ask, but now I'm curious. So, did you buy anything on your birthday? Did you receive quite a bit of discount
I got a lot of
codes?
birthday emails, actually, a lot of birthday like discount cards on email, but I actually didn't buy anything from the emails.
Yeah, I don't know for you, but I actually quite enjoy looking through my inbox or WhatsApp messages, right? Like throughout my birthday, because it always feels a bit special, no? People remember that this is your birthday, and everyone loves getting these birthday messages. And of course, like these automated birthday campaigns that can automatically ping our subscribers on their birthdays. It's an easy way and also, as well as like low impact to drive that year-round revenue, right? Because this is something that you can turn on and kind of forget about it, and then the cash keeps coming in, right? And then you only have to set it up once. And during these special occasion for customers where they want to buy more things, like to reward themselves on their special day, actually, it's a really good opportunity for us to say personalize the message based on what we know about the subscriber. And of course, the most looked forward part is like the discount, right? Where we can also share with them. And in fact, like our clients from Germany and Italy, Bergmensch and Barro Cosmetics, they're already pioneering in this aspect, and they're sending out campaigns with discount codes, right? So that people on their birthdays can get some special rates. I think the best part is that, like with Charles, this is a setup and leave situation, so you don't have to worry about that anymore, and we can always just run it in the background, and it can earn us money, no? So yeah, very excited to share that with you, and let us know if you want to try it out, or you can already set it up yourself.
Absolutely. And we often get questions about, WhatsApp is a channel that works particularly well during like peak sales seasons. We always see a lot of great success during the Black Friday seasons. And these, what we call always on campaigns, are a great way to supplement the revenue retention year round, not just during these peak seasons. So we're
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, because I think from speaking with customers, then we're also interested in not just like campaigns that go one time, no? And then like this is really something we can leverage on, like that is really in the background, and we can keep them running, as you mentioned, Grace.
Absolutely. Cool. So let's move to our next one.
Okay. Yep. Next up, we'll talk about how to build a WhatsApp community. So, this is our favorite part. That's the FOMO.
Yes.
So, yes. So building a word of mouth WhatsApp community is another way to grow our customers' lifetime value. And you can find a lot of ways to engage them and keep them, your VIPs, and keep them special, right, in your community. So like setting up such a community, it's a place for us to share special deals, sometimes product launches, and also like growing sense of being a VIP, right, in this community. And we can already share with you a few examples, like success cases of what our customers have tried. And in fact, some of them even impress us on how creative this can go, no? For example, our client Livier, they locked their online store actually during their conscious shopping days with a password. So that might be slightly unintuitive. However, that actually created a lot of FOMO, right? It made people feel special, because if you sign up with WhatsApp in this community, you get some exclusive deals, or sometimes you can get early access, no, for some of the special deals. So yeah, like we have basically a pre-sale that's exclusive to this WhatsApp community. And these one-off campaigns can also be supplemented with the always on campaigns that we just mentioned. For example, like the yearly anniversary with a more personalized touch, like a different messaging, as well as an exclusive discount, no? And then another theme that we will talk about is waking up these sleeping customers, right? Another way to increase revenue retention is by rekindling these relationships with customers that you haven't heard from for a while. And so like with a robust audience builder, you can basically create this active audience segment for subscribers who might have shown risk of churning. So like for people who haven't interacted with us for a while, like if they haven't placed an order, for example, in the last 90 days, or haven't engaged with our last WhatsApp campaign, these are also people we can target and reach out to specifically, not to get them rekindled, no? And we can entice them back with, say, an engaging and personalized message, or like with someone off discount codes as well, to get them re-engaged. And this is especially interesting if you have a replenishment case, right? For example, we see a lot of folks in the audience, you're in the e-com, like clothes, or maybe even like a hair care industry, right? So I think this feature could be quite handy. Maybe one question to you, Grace. If you buy jeans, right, like how often do you think you will need to buy new jeans again?
Well, I would say I wouldn't necessarily say it's a need to buy new jeans, but to buy new jeans. I reckon I'd probably buy a new pair few times a year.
Oh, okay. Well, let's say 6 months, right? I hope it's a realistic guess, no?
Yeah.
That in 6 months you will have grown tired of your own jeans and want to look at something new. So in
Mhm.
this case, the replenish uh, use case would actually be quite applicable because if you can target, or even hair care products, for
Mhm.
example, I don't know if you gel your hair, wax your hair, and so like these products probably run out like every 2 months or so. And
Mhm.
in this case, when your customers are really feeling the need, right, to buy a new product, then this is the right time for us to remind them that, like, look, actually, it's a good opportunity to replenish your stock, no? And the same would happen to, say, dog food, which I believe, Grace, you're very familiar with this need, no?
Yes, absolutely. I was just saying yesterday when we were going through this presentation that I had forgotten to buy dog food for my dog Wolfgang. So that was the reminder that I needed. So getting a WhatsApp would also be very beneficial.
Yeah, so you're absolutely the people we should be targeting
Yeah. To
to
be honest,
send
I
this
could probably
replenishment
set it up
campaign.
for myself, like using the demo account to remind
Very
myself.
well. Yeah, you can use Charles for that. Um, yeah, definitely.
Louise,
So like send, Hmm?
I
Go
was just
ahead.
going to say we have one question from the audience, Louisa, who asked like, can we compare the structure, design, target grid, etc., with email marketing? I'm going to leave it open because I reckon we're going to answer some of this question as we go along. But Louisa, you can already see here the segmentation opportunities is also very similar. So you have the option to segment the audience as Yanni is describing.
Yeah, definitely. On our platform, there are also like more segmentation opportunities. When we look at like the engagement, for example, like when we have say bulk campaigns, there's also ways to target whether what is the engagement level, and then we can target people who are more active or less active, no? Okay. Yeah, so yeah, we're talking about the recurring reminders to send via WhatsApp. And like for example, like the birthday campaigns, right? These can also be set up running in the background so that we can always be generating retention revenue, which I know that like the group is pretty interested in.
Absolutely. Okay, so then let's have a look at our last thing.
All right, then we come into the measure, learn, and repeat, the motto for Lean Startup, by the way. But of course, like applicable for WhatsApp KPIs as well. I think this is also important for us because we understand that like it's very important for marketers to be able to monitor your success and making sure that you're tracking the right KPIs, right? In this case, you can also create reports on your end and also strengthening the trust like from your internal stakeholders. So of course, we'll also be supplying the product suite and features to support you on that. So one KPI that we care about here is like revenue per conversation. So, or RPC in short, right? So this basically measures how much revenue you would be generating per message or per flow, like considering the WhatsApp and platform costs as well. And using Charles, our customers consistently see an RPC of up to €2 and beyond, right? So in this case, you can also track the ROI. So Charles, like we have our own revenue attribution model, and that makes it easier for you to track the generated revenue. We also suggest focusing on things like repurchase rates as well as like engagement metrics. So we also provide like a certain extent of support on the engagement metrics. You can look at like whether people have received the WhatsApp, like they have read it, or maybe they have clicked on a button so that we can aim to like give you a fuller picture on how successful like the WhatsApp campaign could be, no?
Mhm.
And of course, like it's so like the example here we show is that with Bears and Benefits, and they're active in Germany as well as in Italy, they're testing the campaigns to see what segmentation works best, right? And you can see here a comparison, like for the revenue per recipient here, it's significantly higher if they are using segmentation features compared to just like one campaign to catch them all, no? So the click-through rate as well, we also see a difference. So it is worth it to experiment a little bit to make sure that you can get the highest return, right, for how you set up the campaigns. So if we go next, yeah, so Lampenwelt is another of our customers, and they're also looking into A/B testing their opt-in flow. And through this testing, right, they're seeing a 7% uplift in opt-in conversation as well. So yeah, definitely the motto here is keep measuring, adjusting, as well as repeating.
Absolutely. Okay, great. So guys, now that we've shared our recipe for revenue retention, we're curious to know before we go into the Q&A, another little prompt to pop all of your questions into the Q&A so that we can answer them now. We're curious to know via a poll, which of these tips have resonated with you the best? Which of them sound the most interesting? Of course, don't forget you're speaking to the VP product and the product marketer. So of course we want to know as much about you as possible.
You caught me right here, Grace. We're always interested to learn more about our customers.
Beste Campaign, glaube ich, ist besser.
And while we do that, let's have a look at some of these questions while we wait for you to vote. So bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so let's maybe go back to Louisa's question. So can you compare the structure, design, target group, etc., with email marketing? Jenny, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of email marketing, I think so like I think there are some like common tools that we use there that has like pretty similar audience builder feature, but then like what we have is that like especially for more interactive flows, for example, that we also have ways to segment, like for example, how did people interact with the flow? How did they like how many people have read like this message? And based on that, like doing further targeting, right? So I think for email is perhaps more one step, but then for here, we can even do it like in relation with email marketing. For example, like what we have done is a collaboration with Klaviyo, for example, so that like you can first send out like an email campaign that is more broad, because in this case you don't have a cost that is associated with it, so you can target more people. However, for people that didn't respond or people who have a different read pattern, then you can further target them with like WhatsApp flow from our side, or maybe a bulk campaign that is more targeted, right? In this case, then that if you experiment with different factors on it, then you can also bump up the revenue per conversation that we have mentioned in the call.
And regarding the design, again, I would recommend that you try the QR code that I'll show you after this slide so that you can see the comparison. Email is traditionally long form. So you would have like one big like email, maybe some images, some CTA buttons. With WhatsApp, we see a lot more success with perhaps within this flow, like similar to what we saw with the abandoned cart, having like 1 or 2 messages one after the other, just to humanize it a little bit so that you feel like you are in fact like WhatsApping with somebody. With WhatsApp, you also have a lot more opportunity for rich and interactivity. So you can attach these videos that we saw before in the birthday messages. You can attach these like little audio snippets. So don't even think so. In addition to this, the voice note possibility, we also had a case with where we had a customer like send an audio clip that then played. You would press play and then it was playing music while you went through the rest of the flow, just to like set the mood. Do you know what I mean? You also have a lot more. You have more buttons, so you can like click buttons, click lists. And yeah, all of these possibilities you would see in the flow. So I would recommend trying that one out.
Yeah, and I think one thing that strikes me is also like in the opt-in flow. So there is something specific you can do with WhatsApp is you can have your customer go through this conversation flow together, as we mentioned from Grace, no? So they can actually pick from options. Like we can send them, for example, for pet food. Sometimes like for the cats, they're really picky, right? So maybe you can answer for your pet, actually, do they prefer like fish tuna or other types of meat, right? So in this case, you also know your customer's preference, and you can like use this more interactive style to get more information and collect more data about your customers, right? And then after that, you can also leverage that for future personalization opportunities. Say, okay, we know your cat really likes tuna, and here is like a product that targets our cats that like tuna, for example. So I think this is also something you can put to good use to in the future really raise that RPC, right?
Absolutely. And as we said in the beginning, that data is particularly valuable because it's been given directly by your customer themselves. It's not anything that you've inferred from, e-com or marketing data. Like they've told you specifically that their cat likes tuna. So it's also very, very powerful in that sense as well. Okay, cool. So another question from Jonathan, thank you. What's the best way to keep customers coming back using WhatsApp, and how do the latest changes to WhatsApp help with this?
Yeah, definitely. So I think for like what keeps them coming back is like some creative designs that we have also seen, like for example, the gamification experience that we have shared, right, with Katia is like counting the number of candies in a jar, right? So these are things that are quite catchy, and that gives people the feeling that, okay, I'm not just receiving any average marketing campaign, but it feels like, the brand's voice also kind of come out from this, right? It's a very playful game. So in this case, it almost feels like a raffle somehow. So like we can definitely leverage the marketing strategies that we use in like maybe other offline channels, kind of mimic that in the offline channel on WhatsApp as well. Huh? And then for the second question on what types of WhatsApp features. So like we're on the product team, we're definitely having our eye on different types of templating, right? And then, for different ways, if you present the options or different ways at which you present the pictures, right? Like that is known to increase the conversion. So these are things that we're watching really closely on what is the newest feature from the Meta side, and we're going to implement now.
And also just in like as a general strategy to position your WhatsApp channel as this community, as we saw earlier in the presentation. So your community, your WhatsApp community would get early access to your deals, for example, the same way that we saw with Lavije. Sorry if I just absolutely butchered that. So we saw that before that, they locked the store, but the WhatsApp community got the code early. Could also be that perhaps they get early access to your products. We saw Oatsum, for example, do that really well, where the WhatsApp community got an early access, and not only did they then collect like feedback and everything for the launch. So I think that's also really beneficial, and we start to grow this always on sense of community, of loyalty, which of course is the foundation of retention. So next question, what are the average numbers for WhatsApp KPIs, open rate, click rate, etc., and from which point would a campaign be considered very successful?
Okay. Maybe in this case, our customer success team can actually share some average numbers from our customers here.
I think that was a good idea. They're much more closer to the success of our client campaigns. So we will leave this one. Let me have a look what else we can answer here. So we still have some time, guys, so don't forget to add your questions into the Q&A. So what type of personalized messages have proven most successful in converting abandoned carts into sales on WhatsApp? This is another question from Jonathan. Thank you.
I see. As we have mentioned before, right, like the attributes that we can collect in opt-in, especially on like product preferences, as well as some characteristics on like the on the people side, right? Like if you can mention that, like we can also use a dynamic variable on the platform to have it shown. For example, your cat likes tuna, that the product preferences, right? We can pull it. In this case, this has proved to be more useful, no? Because like in terms of the abandoned cart, then yeah, like I think for the customers, you will also want to prefer something that is more less generic, right, and show that we care, and that like we give them this VIP feeling, right, for the customer. So if we can pull the attributes that we can obtain from the opt-in conversations, then that would be helpful from our case.
Yeah, and I think just like as general rule of thumb, a combination of like hyper personalization. What's also great with our abandoned cart feature with Shopify, for example, you can create a button, like a dynamic button that then of course like sends them directly to the cart that they've abandoned. And also you can include like a summary of the order. So you can say, hey, Grace, like don't forget about the dog food so that poor Wolfgang doesn't go hungry, for example.
Yeah, I definitely get Grace's help to set up some of these campaigns. Then you definitely have creative ideas.
I really need to set just if child services are listening, I do feed my dog. Okay, so can you switch between senders like in email automation HubSpot, for example? So sending messages from the brand followed up by personal specialist. Evo asks. So the message itself, maybe I can take this one. The message itself, so the campaign, like the bulk WhatsApp campaigns, the flows that we saw, as well as the one-to-one communication is all sent from the same number, so from the same brand. But why that's really great is you have all of the communication within the one feed. And it is a combination. I can't speak for obviously all WhatsApp automation tools, but for Charles, you have the combination of the one-off bulk campaigns, the flows, and then you also have the opportunity for agents to respond directly. And you can, of course, then have the service case within WhatsApp as well. And then all of that communication is in this feed. And so then your customer, your end customer, sorry, has then this ongoing flow of communication. And you can see maybe they send you a service request, but in the previous message, they can see that you've sent them a dedicated discount code. And so it goes towards contributing to this sense of loyalty, that you're texting with somebody that you know. It's not just these bulk anonymized emails, that are being sent. Yeah, do you have anything to add to that one, Jenny?
No, I think you have captured all of it.
Okay, cool. So thank you. Jonathan, absolutely loving your participation, Jonathan. Thank you. Jonathan asks, can you share examples of how timing impacts the success of abandoned cart recovery efforts through WhatsApp? So maybe I can go back to the flow slide actually, so we can have a look while we answer this. Shout out to our amazing designer that made this cool animated slideshow. So here we see that the one that we set up here, we've waited for 3 hours. So do you have any experience, Jenny, on how timing impacts?
I think it also depends on like the item value. So I would say like for smaller items, maybe you want to respond a little bit quicker. For bigger decisions, usually it takes people a longer time to decide as well. So you have a longer time window. So when we implement on this feature, we also talked briefly about that. But what we want to suggest is like, don't go like within like maybe 5 minutes or so, then that also seems a bit more intrusive, right? So I think, yeah, depending on the order value, as well as like the purchasing habits that you would know about the consumer, then you can adjust that number. And this is, I think, the perfect case for you to do an A/B testing on as well, right? So like you can see, I think there isn't like a specific science behind this, right? So it really depends on like the subscriber group that you're talking to, as well as the product and the amount, right, for your product as well, like the average value for that. So definitely a good candidate for you to experiment with our flow builder here, for example.
Absolutely, and one of the we only included a snippet of this template, but if you were to see the full template that we built, we actually had 2 messages. So we were waiting for a few hours to check to see if they had purchased, which is what this oh gosh, sorry, which is what this second rule is looking at. It's saying like, have they then purchased in the last 3 hours? If they have, you obviously don't want to send them then a discount code to purchase again. But then it would say, then the rest of it says, okay, let's wait another 12 hours, check if they've made a purchase. If not, then let's send them another reminder with like a bigger discount. And that is all possible with our flow builder. So you can really go to town and build out this quite cool and interactive flow. Okay, we have one last question from Robin, and perhaps while we wait, our success team can have a look at the average numbers for WhatsApp KPIs. Maybe we can drop some in there. Otherwise, Christian will definitely get back to you and we'll include it in the follow-up to this session. So Robin asks, what is the best time to send WhatsApp messages? Very good question. You can probably see here that we would only send this message between 8 and 10, but do you have any ideas, Jenny, on the best time to send WhatsApp messages?
Yeah, I think this still depends more on like the type of product that you're looking at. For example, for beauty products, like probably on the weekends when people have a chance to also go shopping and have time to browse through the catalog. But then for other types of items, for example, like mattresses, then it's probably doesn't have the same kind of rule. So like I think the rule of thumb here is also to experiment, as we mentioned, like with the A/B testing, so that you can also see the results, especially specific for your sector, the product, and like the way you would set up the campaign. Like for example, if you have a discount or like for Black Friday for sure, there are like periods at which the engagement periods that we can suggest, say like 3 weeks before and then 1 week, right? Like, and in anticipation for an event to arrive, right? Like for the more normal ones, then I think it really depends.
Absolutely. And with this testing, also think about like when you yourself would want to receive a message from a brand. Is it at the end of the day in the evening when you're sitting down and watching TV, for example? Is it when you're procrastinating and you're supposed to be working? Also have a think about these timing as well. So cool. If anybody is interested about the WhatsApp KPIs, we've added the link to a blog into the chat, so make sure we check it out. Also, Taipei is telling me we have one more question. So last question, guys, and then we need to wrap up. I also want to show you this QR code so that you can experience WhatsApp for yourself. But Lola asks, do you have any tips on how best to advertise services or events rather than products in WhatsApp?
I wonder what type of events
Really cool question. For example, so at the moment we're talking about we're looking at ways that we can contribute to an upcoming marketing conference in Germany. You can probably imagine the conference that I'm talking about. And we're having a think about how we can use WhatsApp to support within this event. And some of the ideas we came up was perhaps coming up with sending the agenda within the event, sending some highlights of what type of like a cool masterclass or cool like performance that's coming up. So that's one way to think about using WhatsApp within the event. In general, I would say that the strategies and things that we've told you about in today's session, I wouldn't say that it differs very much from events and services. Of course, you can't use an abandoned cart unless perhaps you're a ticketing service and they would be abandoning the cart for the tickets. Could be a way to use it. Wouldn't be necessarily directly within Shopify. I'm not 100% sure what tool you'd be using. But also, I think the automation is a really cool way to keep updated within an event or in the lead up to an event. So you could say that they sign up and then you remind them tomorrow, or sending it via WhatsApp. I think, again, keeping in mind this idea of FOMO and generating FOMO for an event or for any kind of service, I think it would still be applicable. So hopefully that answers the question. Do you have anything to add, Yanni?
And maybe like, maybe like 2 more things, right? So Also see another question on like send out monthly, weekly. So yeah, like that is also a difference between WhatsApp campaigns as well as email. I think for emails, it tends to go a bit more often. And there are two factors that contribute to that. WhatsApp is a more intimate channel, right? So like I think if we start sending a lot of messages, it does feel more intrusive. So usually like the way we would frame the messages is more on a monthly scale, maybe 1 to 2 messages, right? We're talking about. And that also applies to the event. Another layer for it is also like we can make use of the conversation window on the WhatsApp side. So there is a 24-hour conversation window for WhatsApp, meaning that if you send messages within that window, you wouldn't be charged twice, right? So that is also another strategy as you think about abandoned cart or think about like promoting events, right? If you can make use of that, then you can send 2 messages with 1 bean. So buy one, get one free kind of situation. So that's also something you can consider.
Cool, absolutely. Okay, so with that, I think we're going to leave it there. As promised, before we wrap up, we would love to see for you to see what WhatsApp is like in action. So feel free to scan this QR code and you'll get a general flow of like all the features that we've mentioned today, so you can experience yourself how you can start reaching your customers with WhatsApp. I would like to also take this moment to thank Jenny for coming in and joining us. It's not often that we get the VP product coming in to have these sessions. So thank you so much for sharing your insights with, so much detail and passion. And it's been really nice to do this with you as well.
Oh, thank you for having me. And it's always good to be speaking to our customers and getting to know you all more.